Hey, what up, what up, what up, beautiful people? Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. How are y'all? How's everybody doing on this Tuesday night? Your girl is back. Your girl is back. We are back with another episode of Nights with Nikki. And I hope that you are all having a pleasant evening wherever you are in the world. We do have people watching us from everywhere, so I can really appreciate the fact that you guys are tuning in. I know it's a whole lot of places on this here internet for y'all to hang out at, and I'm just really glad that y'all chose to come and spend your night with Nikki, baby. Listen, that sound like a whole advertisement for this here thing, now doesn't it? I don't know where you are spending your night, or where you coming from, but I'm so glad that you're spending your night with Nikki. Anywho, guys, I was definitely considering taking a break. But as I have promised, I said I was going to be consistent. Oh, first, before I go too far, I have learned my lesson from the past. Can we please check and make sure audio is good? Can you guys give me some thumbs up if the audio is good? Hi, TikTok. Hi, TikTok family. We're a little up close and personal today, TikTok. I got y'all extreme close up. Hi, I believe that we are live on all platforms. Let's just check and see where we are, where the people is watching from. Yes, the people are watching on Twitter, the people are watching on LinkedIn, the people are watching on Facebook, the people are watching on WIRF.TV, YouTube, and the people are watching on Instagram and TikTok. I am so grateful. This is, you know what? It's a beautiful thing when you can simulcast. I remember back in the day, this would be next to impossible. You guys, I said last night, I'm a analog gal living in this here digital world. So first of all, cheers to each and every one of y'all. Cheers to everyone. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I'm going to take a sip because I need one tonight. And if you need one, get you one too. Y'all remember my little show, Divas and Cocktails? Yeah, cheers. That's my very reasonable, very delicious and delightful Riesling. It is an award-winning Riesling, and it's only $7 a bottle. So go get yourself one because, you know, we're on budgets over here. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me last night. Last night's show was awesome. I was actually considering not doing a show tonight, but I've really grown to really love and appreciate spending this here quality time with y'all. I did not feel like doing my hair, so the hair is not did or done. I don't, I got a hat on, as you can see. And please forgive me if I look a little greasy, but I moisturized my skin and threw on a red lip for y'all tonight. So cheers for the red lip. So tonight we're going to get into some really interesting dialogue, you guys. It's a lot happening out here in these here social media streets, and we've got a lot to talk about. Just to give you a heads up on what our conversations tonight are going to be about on Nights with Nikki. Let me get the formalities out of the way. Please hit like on TikTok and like on all the other platforms you're on. Like, share, and subscribe. But specifically, if you're watching on WIRF.TV YouTube channel, which we are so grateful that we're building the momentum that we're building, please do me a kind favor and hit like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching us from Instagram, I understand we have our comfort zones. You're watching us from TikTok. You're watching us from Twitter and all those places. I understand we have our comfort zones. But once the show is over, if you will, please leap on into that WIRF.TV YouTube, because we are building something really amazing over there and you don't want to miss it. So make sure you hit that notification button. So tonight, darling, there is no guest list tonight. Everybody's welcome. We are talking Nicole Collier, representative, who's refusing a police escort, and she is literally sleeping on the Texas House floor. Now, you guys, I said I was not going to get up all off into these politics. Howsoever, if you got a platform and you're one of us, there's some things that you just have to talk about. So tonight we are going to talk about that. We are also, this DEI rollback, I have always said the quickest way to get people to pay attention to what the entire you are talking about is economic protest. Some of you have heard me talk about this in the past, but there's a group in Detroit in the 1930s called the Detroit Housewives League, not to be confused with any of the housewives on TV on this here day. But that is literally what it was, the Detroit Housewives League, Fannie Peck. And they led one of the nation's first economic protests, and it was highly effective. And I'm going to stop talking about that so much because, yeah, we're doing a lot of big things over at Worth Media TV, and it's a whole lot of people who creeping over here for ideas and concepts and shit that they can't come up with on their own. So, you know, sometimes you'll get things from us a little, I'm sorry, fidgeting. Sometimes you'll get things from us a little last minute because, you know, we be hitting them corners trying to avoid the infringement. But yeah, if you don't know the story because it's such a powerful story, please, if you wonder where people from Detroit get that from, it's a great story to follow. We're going to talk about Joy Reid, who just recently said that she earned about 10% of her male counterparts despite her high ratings, right? And I want to unpack the conversation about Joy Reid, who was at MSNBC, and is now, I believe, out here on YouTube doing her own thing, branding her own business. But I want to really get into that conversation a little more because I think we've been talking about the expectation of corporations and owners of other properties and entities, the expectation of them treating us equally, right? And doing for us as they do for others that, you know, maybe aren't as magnificent as we are. And the expectation is a little, we'll get into the conversation. I'm not going to say forget about it, but honey, forget about it. It's time for us to just put all that energy into building our own shit and naming our own price with each other. But we're going to get into that, into a deeper conversation. We are also going to talk a little bit. I don't want to talk too much because I wasn't there. I don't know. And it sounds like a very sensitive issue. Please, if you're coming into WIRF.TV YouTube channel, or any of the other platforms, y'all, please hit that like button because those likes let the people know that you like what you see and well, not so much what you see because, but what you're hearing and the dialogue and all that. And it'll move us into the algorithm so more people can join the party. And parties are always fun when you got a whole lot of smart people in the room. So Tamar Braxton recently had a near-death experience. OMG, we gonna read up on that. This is actually us catching up on this stuff together, because I just kind of scrolling for my topics and I saw that and it just kind of took my breath away. So we're gonna talk about Tamar Braxton. If you have not heard, it's a lot going on there, and we're also, if we have time, see, I gotta really get a lot of information on this here subject that I'm talking about. Let me get a sip of water because y'all, we might have to dedicate tomorrow night's whole show to this. Ain't nothing like some lemon water and some cheap wine. Cheers. Monique recently did a podcast with the Queen T.S. Madison. And I heard things were said, and I haven't watched the full episode, and I feel like, because Monique is my sister, baby, we ride at dawn. That's what Monique called me up, and it's like, what do we ride at dawn, right? It just is what it is. But I do want to have the full breadth of this conversation, and I haven't had a chance to absorb it because I know this is going to be a good one, and this is probably going to be a topic that we save for tomorrow night. But yeah, guys, it's a whole lot going on out here, and I want you guys to take a look at this video, because yeah, it's very disturbing. Take a look, and you guys are going to have to listen, but this is Representative Nicole Collier.
In a moment in the history of our country where it is so lacking in those who should have it, and you really are inspiring so many people, and I just want you to know that you are among those who history will reveal to have been heroes of this moment. So you just stay strong and do what you are doing. You have the right instinct, you are talented, and you are principled.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much this means to me and the community that I represent, that you care. You took the time to pay attention to the people, and that matters. It really matters. Thank you.
And we're back. And we are back. Okay, guys. So if you don't know what that was Representative Nicole Collier. And it's some really crazy stuff going on out here in politics. You guys, I have tried to stay away from this. I really have, because not because I don't care, just because we have to really, please hit the like button. Please hit like as you come in. Please hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. I'm sorry I got to pause and let y'all know that every so often and whatnot. But I stepped away from it because I've been dealing with a lot of grief. I've been dealing with, obviously, we still have a case in the Supreme Court of the United States. September 29th is a very, very, very big day. So remember, September 29th is the long conference of the Supreme Court. The justices are reviewing cases that they are considering for writ of certiorari. Our case has made it to the long conference, so I got to plug that while I'm thinking about the shit, because we're going to get to talking, asking questions and things tonight, and I might forget. But yes, please pray for my family. But there's just been so much going on, and I just try to kind of, sometimes you don't have the capacity, right? It's okay to take a break. Right. And it's interesting because we were talking last night about Whitney Houston, or maybe a couple nights ago, we were talking about Whitney Houston and how she had said if she had taken a break. And I came across that clip because, the algorithm just, they be all up in the videos dancing. They know everything you talking about. And it blew my mind. So anyway, don't be afraid to take a step away. And we're not going to spend too much time on the political stuff because I know, y'all come here for the humor and the real shit. Okay. In Austin, Representative Nicole Collier staged an overnight protest on the House floor, refusing a police escort, you guys. They wanted her to sign some paperwork, right? This police escort was designed to monitor lawmakers who'd gone absent to block redistricting, okay? The move stirred debates about democratic rights and legislative discipline. Collier refused to sign a permission slip to leave under, I'm sorry, I should have had her picture up, guys, forgive me. But she refused to sign a permission slip to leave under Department of Public Safety expert. I refuse to sign away my dignity. I won't go alone quietly. And with their intimidation, she said, other Democrats tore up their slips in solidarity. So there are other women outside of the house. I'm sorry, outside of the room. And they tore their paperwork up. The reason I kind of try to stay out of the politics stuff is, number one, I'm confused about a lot. Like a lot of us, I'm confused. I mean, some shit I'm not confused about at all. Don't get it twisted. What's clear is clear, right? But when you start thinking about how we are responding on both sides of the aisle, right? And you just kind of see so much happening. And if you don't know, if you are not educated and if you are not informed, it's easy to just formulate an opinion real quick. It's easy for propaganda to just kind of say this is what it is, and for us to be like, oh, that's what it is? Okay, then this is what it is. So I try to stay away from it because I don't have the capacity to invest time and energy into something that I feel will ultimately end up just making me more in need of a break, right? The world is in a really crazy place right now. It's lightweight depressing for a lot of people. We have experienced a lot of loss and a lot of grief, and now politics appears to be falling apart at the seams, right? And those of us who don't know a whole lot about it are trying to do our part by making sure we're amplifying the right messages and supporting the right people, but we don't know. And do we have the capacity to stop and to learn? I don't think we want to take that time out because there's so much shit going on, but I think it's getting to the point where we probably are going to have to, because whatever is happening here, and I'm not fully clear on all of it and all of the reasons. I see headlines, but my girl Christine Beatty, who is my political guru, she knows so much about politics. Matter of fact, we're going to have to probably start talking about, with everything going on, I'm going to have to probably start bringing Christine back in here for some conversations, real talk, because that woman knows what the hell she be talking about. And a lot of my other smart friends. But I think it's time for us to kind of wake up and smell the politics, if that's, a halfway decent way of saying it. Because in addition to this, right? I mean, this is essentially a GPS tracker on somebody. Really. Like, this is, I'm going to make sure you know what I mean? It's like, it is crazy on its face, right? But you also have to think about the fact that there are other black women in politics. I believe I saw something where Letitia, okay, let me not talk too much about shit I don't know about, but there are other people who seem to be under investigations and, you know, seems to be getting real interesting. And, you know, sometimes some people say code word for Democrat is black person. And I know that not all black people are Democratic, but, you know, at the end of the day, I don't know a lot about politics. I don't like to get into them too much. I don't want to say the wrong things, but I also don't want to sit out when I could potentially lend my voice and my platform to amplifying and advocating for something really important. So I would encourage everyone to look into this case with Representative Nicole Collier. And, you know, she's sleeping at her desk. And she's sleeping at her desk because she refused to sign something, right? And it just doesn't seem fair and it doesn't seem right. And I know that there's an explanation on the other side of this that is going to try to justify it somehow. But like, have we just gotten to the place where, well, yeah, we have, because this is actually happening. So I think this is an opportunity for us to come off that political hiatus we've been on. I think this is the time where we rat at dawn, you know, not literally, but figuratively. I'm not saying that you should go out into the streets and protest. I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything like that. And I'm about to get off this political shit because, again, I try to stay away from it because it's just so taxing. And I know y'all like, but it's an important conversation. And all I will say is educate yourself and become informed. All right, let's talk about Target while we on the subject of this DEI rollbacks and the, you know, impact of it. When this first happened, I was thinking to myself, is this going to actually work? Are we actually going to show the power of people of color coming together and deciding that we are not going to allow you to just disregard the fact that we contribute lots and lots of money to your bottom line? And I think that this conversation is one that could be had across all industries, right? I think it is a shining example of what unity in the community will bring when we decide that something is not okay and we come together with a solution that everybody can easily participate in. I think we come up with results. So, let me get into, sorry, this is from Attorney Ben Crump's page. Let me go to his page and read the article if you guys haven't already. Yeah, so it looks like this has been effective. And I also saw Tabitha Brown was on Earn Your Leisure, and she had a really interesting conversation about her perspective on that. So you guys make sure you guys check that out. So Target has seen its market value shrink by $12.4 billion. They said 12. Hold on, let me have a little cocktail. Child. That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money in this motherfucker. Okay. $12.4 billion following a boycott that erupted after the retailer scaled back its diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI commitments. The decline, which hit hard in late February 2025, coincided with a steep drop in the company's stock price. The boycott, driven primarily by the Black community leaders and shoppers, is being compared to the historic efforts like the Montgomery bus boycott for its scale and for its mother flipping influence. Didn't think we could do it, but we did. Didn't think we was gonna come together and boycott your ass, but we did. I love it. And guess what? I participated in my own little way because I'm a Sam's Club Walmart Easter. And I never really used my Target card like that anti-way. So, yeah, cheers to us. That is how you make a difference in your community. That is how you prove your value as a community. Unity. That's why the word unity is in community. UNITY. UNITY. That's what unity. UNITY. Love a black woman from infinity to infinity. UNITY. Who you calling a bit? Look, that should be the theme song for this Target boycott. Booyah. I love it. And listen, I understand the concept of how many, listen, I'm rocking the Lip Bar red lipstick now. Where's my Lip Bar? Boom. I showed it last night. I'm a Lip Bar Easter. And the Lip Bar was one of the bigger retailers in Target. And that is awful for business for them. Please, thank you guys for coming in, hanging out. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this episode of Nice with Nikki. Just a quick recap. We are talking Target right now. We just finished talking about Representative Nicole Collier. We're going to get into Tamar. We're going to get into Jillian Michaels. Oh my God, y'all, they suing Netflix. Oh, we got to really talk about this one because I heard some other things that Jillian Michaels was doing that wasn't so cool. So I'm going to try to find the clip and play the clip on that too. But back to the Target thing. Let me tell you guys, I have to share this story with you because it's such an impactful story. I'm from the city of Detroit. And in Detroit, there's a place called Paradise Valley, and it still exists. Shout out to Hiram Jackson and Dennis Archer Jr. in Detroit and Dan Gilbert and the Illiches, all the people who are really preserving the legacy of this amazing community. So much power in the city of Detroit. So glad that I'm from that place, y'all. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm just, we magic. We, for real. We magic. Well, all of us are magic, but Detroit got a little extra sauce. I'm sorry, it's just a little something. But anyway, Black Bottom in Michigan was an area that you don't hear a lot about. Okay, you hear a lot about Tulsa. You hear about a lot of other places where they built, a tremendous amount of wealth in African American communities. But in Detroit, we had a place called Black Bottom, which came right after Tulsa, right? And Black Bottom was a place, Paradise Valley. It was a place in Detroit, on the east side, downtown Detroit, where our Black community lived and thrived. And what brought that on, I'm bringing this back to the DEI Target economic protest and the power of the economic protest. But what brought that on, and I really want to hoard this story and hide this story and keep this to myself, but then that would be really terrible of me to do because it's such an awesome fucking story. But I really want the opportunity to tell this story and bring the story to the screen, so I'm saying it now. Okay. But there was a group of women, the Detroit Housewives League, I spoke about them briefly earlier, led by Fannie Peck. They had a lot of great resources within that community. And what happened was, the way the story goes is that the suburbs, obviously the Black people would go out to the suburbs to work, right? The dentists would go out to the suburbs and, you go out for grocery stores and you go out to get, and when they started to realize that a lot of the things that they needed, there was just a whole lot of segregation happening. So the women in the community realized, well, wait a minute, ain't such and such's nephew studying to become a dentist? Yep, sure is. Well, why don't we help him open up his dentist office and give him all of the business? Oh, well, ain't such and such good at doing groceries? Oh, such and that. Well, didn't such and such say she wanted to open up a theater and bring in some performers? So you had your Ella Fitzgeralds, you had all of your performers, Billie Holiday, all your performers from the 1930s would come into Black Bottom and perform at the Paradise Valley Theater. And they built this thriving Detroit Renaissance community because there were just their needs were not being met and their needs were not being served in the suburbs and the non-Black communities. So they staged the economic boycott. And instead of spending their dollars in those communities, they built and spent dollars in their own, and they built a thriving community. And then, well, let's talk about what happened after that. What always happens, y'all. They built a freeway through it. Or burn it down, it's always something, right? However, there's a small and powerful group of people in Michigan, which I'm excited to see my people very soon. I'll be in the city for something really amazing. They are working to rebuild and to restore. So when you go down to like an area called Harmony Park in Detroit, you'll see there are Fixin's, one of my favorite soul food restaurants, which is black owned. You'll see Detroit Vinyl Society, which is a dope ass club. Detroit is just a dope ass motherfucking city. So make sure y'all go to Detroit. And then I'm also going to share some other little. Y'all do know that Detroit was founded by a French colony. That's the reason why Detroit is known as the Paris of the Midwest. Tata, Burlesque, Cabaret, Detroit, Cadillac Family. Excuse me. Cadillac Family, French, Detroit. Yes, all of the streets, Charlevoix, Livernois, Gratiot, St. Albans. You know what I'm saying? Those are all French names. So, yeah. I'm giving y'all a history lesson in Detroit. I don't know how we went from talking DEI to history lessons in Detroit. Please hit the like button. Please give me likes. Please give me lots of likes. I would appreciate it. As you know, my old auntie ass is going to always give you guys just a little bit of something to lean on in terms of knowledge. So back to this Target thing. They said this is one of the most effective economic boycotts since the Montgomery boycott. So this is huge for our community. This is a huge win for us. We are powerful when we all come together and we all stand as one and really do our part to contribute. Hey, Jonelle, I see you. Hello, Deep Petaway, Kentucky, I see you. Hi, Lamar, I see you. Hello, Brother Calvin, I see you. I see you guys. Thank y'all for coming in and hanging out. I really want to know if Monique believes in Jesus. Oh, come on. I'm sure Monique believes in Jesus. And you know what? At the end of the day, yeah, okay, I don't even know why I read that out loud. Retract. Okay, Tony Braxton seemed, what is going on? Why am I got to be careful about reading the comments too loud, right? Yeah, some of that is way too much. You guys, yeah, okay, let me get on to my next topic. Cause yeah, y'all gonna have me up in here. Last night I got a couple nights ago I got a little fiery with my what happened here? Where are we? Okay, there we go. What are we talking about? Oh, real quick, you guys. On Wednesday, hold on. Please hit the like button for you, girl. Please hit the like button for me. I would really appreciate it. And tomorrow night, I'm doing something really cool. Hold on, let me get the website and the web address and all that stuff for you guys. Hold on. Well, I'll actually come back to that and do that after the fact. You guys, we're going to talk about Tamar Braxton. God bless our sister Tamar. Let me find the article. Hold on, bear with me, y'all. We talked about Joy and Reid. Did you guys hear the? Wrong. Okay, we're there. Where is everything? What is going on? What has happened here? I lose everything. I am so busy these days, you guys. I know excuses are mere monuments of nothingness, building bridges leading nowhere, but I am so busy. Okay, here we go. I found it. So, according to the Jasmine brand, you guys, prayers up for our sister Tamar. According to the Jasmine brand, the Grammy-nominated artist Tamar shared a horrific incident that happened to her over the weekend. This is crazy. I can't even imagine. All right, why is it so small? Hold on, this is crazy. I can't even imagine. And I'm just so glad that she is okay. But this incident almost ended Tamar's life. It happened over the weekend, and she shared in her IG story. I struggled to write this, but everyone keeps calling me, and honestly, I can't even talk anymore. I'm so weak. I almost died. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. There's so much you can't say. She continues sharing that she was found in a pool of blood. I hope I can say that on these apps. I'm sorry. And her friend found her with a face injury. And as the days go by, the worse it is. She fractured her nose. She lost some teeth and some mobility. So the way she looks at life right now is totally different. As her health is on the mend, my mental journey begins. She let her fans know that she's unsure how things took such a drastic turn. And she ended with, "Pray for me for real. I don't even know what happened to me." That is so scary. And I am definitely praying for you, Tamar. Lord God, please bless and protect our sister Tamar Braxton, Lord God. Please bless her mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I can't even imagine what she's going through, Lord God, and cover her so that she heals in your mighty name. Amen. That is so crazy. And again, we don't know, so we cannot speculate. Please hit like as you guys come in, please and thank you. We don't know what happened, so we cannot speculate. But what's really interesting is that, and I don't know that this has anything to do with what happened with Tamar. It could have been a medical emergency she was unaware of. I have no idea what happened. It's really none of our business. She let us know that she was okay. She's praying. She's healing. She's on the mend. And all we can really do at this point is pray for the best with and for her. But what I have found, and again, like I said, this may not apply to the Tamar situation, but it just made me think about like how we as creatives go through really traumatic things. Because I ain't even gonna hold you up. The reason why I got a glass of wine today is I found out some crazy shit today, and about family. But you know what I'm saying. And it's just like you wonder like how you can share, who you can share it with that you could trust. You know what I'm saying? Like how you can get to the space of healing when something crazy like this happens. And I have not read all the comments. Not gonna read all the comments. But I'm sure in there somewhere there's like a ton of like it's not all just like, oh my God, I'm praying for you. I hope all is well. I hope you get better. I'm sure that there are doctors and therapists and speculators and cheerleaders and condemners and aha, that's what you getters and all that kind of shit going on. And it's just that is, I guess, the bigger part of the conversation that I wanted to have as a creative and as an artist who I've watched a lot of my peers go through a lot. I've gone through a lot. Shit, we've all gone through a lot, right? And it's really easy to say, well, shit, so what? I'm not an artist and I've gone through a lot. And that's not to negate what you may be going through or another person may be going through. It's just different when you have to go through it in the public eye and you have so much scrutiny and so much, yeah, but your family, can be just as toxic as the public. Yeah, but then you have to think about the fact that a lot of celebrities have toxic ass family and they have to deal with the toxic stuff in the public. And a lot of times people hide that because they don't want to deal with the backlash of the vulnerability that they allow themselves to experience, because we're going to judge and we're going to speculate and we're going to wonder what happened. And every story kind of goes the same with celebrities out here, right? I think there are a lot of people who genuinely care about Black celebrities. I do. I think that, it was somebody who said, who was it? Gosh, I can't think of who it was, but they just said, I think it was Saweetie, who recently said, I just have to accept that people are just going to hate me for no reason. Or people are just going to not like me or not wish me well for no reason. And it just really like struck a nerve, because so many of us have to go through that. So many of us, and our industry is getting smaller and smaller. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are aging out. We talked about the situation with Gladys Knight, which we don't know if it's true or false, right? We don't know. All I know is I do know Shanga and Glow, and they're good people, and they have, as far as I've always known, they've loved on their mother. But trust me, I also understand the other side of it. When you got toxic ass fucking kids who don't know that it's from a hole in the wall, and are just there to create chaos and sees an opportunity. So I understand that side of it as well. But I guess the question is, when does the humanity kick in? Like, when do you, like, I hate to beat a dead horse, and how do we go from Tamar Braxton to, all these other situations? But it's sad that things happen to artists and creatives in this business, and we send prayers and we send hearts and we hope you're better, and it's a spectacle, and we waiting to see what it is and shit. And nobody really, very few people, I will say, are really genuinely concerned about the mental, physical, and spiritual wellness of artists and creatives. I don't know if it's just this whole like, well, you signed up for it, so you food for the streets. Whenever something happens, we gonna eat. I don't know if it's people got their own shit going on and they just don't have the capacity to be concerned about celebrities. But I always say it's really important for us to realize, please hit the like button as you guys come in, please, and thank you. And thank you for getting us to 500,000 views in 28 days on WIRF.TV. YouTube, I really appreciate y'all. This one ain't gonna be long for real, because I realized I'm tired as hell. So if I start rambling, just, somebody slap me, wake me up. Pop, pop. But it's just, I got sad when I saw this, because the other part of it is that, the way that the industry impacts families as well, and, rips families apart, especially, we've had this reality TV conversation many a time, you just find it very hard as a person in the entertainment industry to navigate it as a regular human being, because you always got to be concerned about what gets out in the press and what people are saying, and you got to get in front of shit, and you got to say something before they do, and if you don't say it, then you're running from it, and if you do say it, you're putting your business in the street, and you can't win for losing. So I'm praying for Tamar Braxton. I'm praying for Gladys Knight. I am praying for Wendy Williams. I'm praying for Nikki Gilbert Daniels. I am praying for each and every person, because here's the thing I wanted to share. Thank you for the likes. Thank you in advance for the likes and the subscribes. And y'all didn't even tell me. Yesterday, I had lipstick on my teeth. See how y'all do? That's right. I see how y'all do. But artists have a lot of influence, and we have really big audiences out here. Some of us, right? I'm trying to grow mine a little bigger. So again, hit like. But we have big audiences. We influence a lot of people. And when creatives and artists go through certain things, sometimes it is triggering for the people who watch us and the people that support us. And I think it's really important to figure out some kind of, we've lost so many, right? And I'm not saying that any of this, again, I've kind of moved off of the Tamar thing, because I don't know anything outside of what she said, which is that she doesn't even know what happened. Right, exactly. So she doesn't even know what happened. How do we know, right? But I'm praying for her. I'm praying that she gets healed quickly, and I hope that she doesn't have too much damage to her face, because she's a beautiful woman, and she needs that face and that voice and that mouth and all of that stuff for her performances and whatnot, and to get out there and give people all the vocals that she gives, right? So that is her livelihood. So I'm praying for her. I really am. Super terrible. But back to artists and creatives not feeling comfortable and not having a place to rest their head, for lack of a better word. I really think, and I kind of said this when I was talking about the Whitney Houston thing, I feel this way as far as Wendy Williams is concerned. If you're a public figure and you have, someone that a lot of people know, pretty high profile these days on social media, everybody high profile now, right, though? It's crazy, right? Everybody's high profile these days with social media, no matter what you're doing. Because, baby, I happened upon, what is it, Grip Baby Family, and Mama somebody, I was like, stuck. Never seen anything like it, but we live in an attention economy, so she's keeping a lot of people's attentions, and God bless her and her babies as well. Point just being, when you start counting the number of celebrities and really magical people, talented, super talented people who have been in this business for a while, the numbers are getting smaller and smaller of those of us who are healthy and happy and able to deliver, right? And I would just encourage people who, it's so important that our legacy as musicians and artists, remains protected. Even if you aren't the biggest fan of the individual, the contribution to soul music, the contribution to television and film, the contributions that, a lot of these famous people have made, should be a part of our legacy that we respect and we love and we cherish. And unfortunately, we're looking, honey, they taking critical race theory, and now they want to go to the Smithsonian and take everything out of there. And one thing that we have always been really good at is music and entertainment. And it's something that builds a lot of, has the potential to build a lot of generational wellness first. Because if you don't know what to do with it, it don't matter. And there's a lot of people out here with a lot of money that just ain't got it together, Jesus. And we gonna pray for them. But it's just very important for our community to figure out a way to unify and support each other, like the Target DEI situation, and the economic protest and whatnot. Is it possible that we can come together and support one another? Is it possible that we can preserve the legacies of those that are still here so that we can continue to build a legacy of great art and great music, because it generates so much motherfucking money, it don't make no sense. It generates a ton of money. Globally, music, art, create the things that we as people of color create, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color. It creates so much revenue and inspiration, and it is in perpetuity. It's going to be around forever, ever. We're going to be singing songs that Black people created. We're going to be watching films and projects. And I have to say, I'm so happy to see so many great independent Black projects. I said it the other night, the Jason Lee and Lemmy Plummer collaboration on the Hollywood Unlocked Awards is brilliant. The fact that they were able to come together and build something incredible and say, screw all these other award shows that don't do the diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've been, and I'm about to get into this Joy Reid story because there's a very important message there as well. It's time for us to stop talking about what they're not doing for us. There's no other real way to say it, people. Us, we. We have got to get out of the victim mentality. And I understand it's so much bigger than just the victim mentality. I understand that prolonged exposure to poverty is a big reason why we are in this situation. And I understand how little we had to do with the horrible shit that happened to us. But again, we have to put one foot in front of the other. There is opportunity out here in these here woods. Do you understand? There's opportunity out here. More people are able to build their businesses and build their brands. It takes work. And you can't just instantly, like a motherfucking jack in a box, just pop out and be somebody. I mean, pop out and show niggas is just some shit Kendrick Lamar said in the song. You got to really work for it in these streets in real motherfucking life. And people don't want to do the work. Because let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. We want it. But we don't want to do what is required for us to have ownership of it. And that is why we allow so many people to hire us. And their letters are attached to our name for as long as they give us the little pen with the CNN or the CSS and the ABC and the TV and the blah, 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 blah. And then the minute they snatch their shit back, we're standing in the corner talking about how much we work to build their brands and their business and their things. And they took their toys back and told us to go home. We're done playing with you. And the reason we are constantly in this cyclical ownership is the only way, y'all. Ownership is the only way. Nope, that's the wrong story. Joy and Reid. I'm about to say something that I probably shouldn't have said. Well, just didn't want it to. I don't want it to turn into that. Hold on, guys. Okay. Getting into the Joy and Reid story. Joy Ann Reid is opening up about pay disparities during her time at MSNBC. Speaking at the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival C-Suite Soiree earlier this month, Reid shared, "I worked in a business where I was paid a tenth of the salary of the people who did literally my same job the whole time I worked there. And we knew that any man that was doing what I was doing was going to make more than me, and that they were going to be able to negotiate higher salaries, even at lower ratings." Reid called this the curse of competency, explaining, "You know more than everyone else because you've had to do more work, more research to get to where you are. And so therefore, you're the one everybody calls, which means that because you are the best at it, you actually work the hardest, do the most hours, work the most overtime, and don't get paid based on the amount of work you do." I'm sorry. She added that her male, non-black counterparts rarely face the same challenges. They get the sort of presumption of brilliance, the Elon Musk presumption, where people are like, "You look like a genius. You must be a genius." But they're not. They work fewer hours, make more than us, get bigger raises, more opportunities, and more grace. This is the world we live in. And where's the lie? Please hit like, share, subscribe, you guys. Please hit the like button. There is no lie there. There is no lie there. What she said is indeed the truth. But there's another part to that. How long has this been going on? How long has this been going on? Listen, this shit been going on since it was created. We know, and we have known for many, many years, since slavery. We watched Michael Jackson fight for his worth. And then the machine put out a story, which we still don't have all the facts on. We don't know if it was true or a smear campaign. And these days, knowing what we know now, we watched Prince, Bob Marley, Ozzy and Ruby. We have watched for years as our peers in entertainment and media have fought feverishly for fairness and equality. And the thing is, they were at the top of the heap. And while they may have been getting paid more as artists and writers than someone like Joy Reid, when you compare apples to apples, right? Or apples to oranges in this case, they still weren't getting taken care of like some of the non-black artists were. So this is a story that has been going on in our community for many, many years. And there have been a lot of people out here amplifying and trying to bring light and information. Her, she, me. And our community doesn't understand how to show up for us in that space. And by that, I mean, they're not going to give you more money because you ask for it. They're not going to give you more money because you complain about it. They're going to give you more money when the people who make the money for them that watch your show and tune in stand with you and do something similar to what happened with Target. When there is some form of an economic protest to the injustices that are inevitable in this industry because they own everything. We don't own shit. And while we're in those positions and we're in those spaces where we're the number one show or the number one talent or the number one creator, we have got to make sure that we are planting seeds with others who are not in the position that we're in, but are good and talented and just as capable of excelling. We have to make sure we pour and sow into the people after us, the people who are coming up under us. And by up under us, I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying the youth, the younger generations, other women in the industry who have been trying to get there. We tend to do this thing where we get up high and we look down low, and we appreciate the applause and we appreciate the fanfare and all of the things. And then when we realize, oh, you're nothing more than a version of the people that you have not supported as much as maybe you could have. And I'm not saying this happened with Joy Reid at all. I'm just saying so often in our industry, part of the problem is while you are in the room and while you have the baton, you're not passing it or giving someone else the code, because there's this whole like, well, I got it out the mud, she got to get it out the mud too. I get it. People do have to work. But we understand that if there is any chance that that more of us will be in a space where there are so few of us, it's going to require those of us who are in those spaces to lift and bring us into those spaces. Those of us who are qualified and who have done the work and who are ready. So often the excuse of people who don't help other people is that, if you're not ready, if I give you an opportunity and you're not prepared for it and you're not blah, 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 that's some bullshit. It's always somebody in our community, because we are so dope and so prepared and so ready on so many levels. There's always someone in our community that is capable of receiving the baton if you reach back and hand it. So don't use the excuse of you just basking in the glory of the popularity and fame and the vapor. Don't use that as the reason why you haven't been able to create more seeds of multi-millionaire media owners, companies, builders. Don't use that excuse, because it's old, it's tired, and we don't believe it anymore. Just say what it is. I wanted to be the only one up there for a minute. I wanted to bask in the glory of being the only one. And a little bit of a tangent, but I think y'all follow me when I say the biggest issue in our community is the lack of unity and togetherness and authentic support, active support. Active support is not a heart. Speaking of hearts, can I have some hearts and some likes? Because that's active on YouTube. The only time active support comes in the form of a heart or a like is when it's on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or one of these platforms that you're watching me on here today. But yeah, guys, I hope that we get to a point as a community. I hope we get to a place as a community where we stop being so afraid of putting each other on. We stop being so afraid of trusting each other. I know that many of us have had, I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know how that got up there. Oh, let me take that down. Somebody's asking me about talking about Sarah Stokes, and we're not talking about Sarah Stokes today. Wrong show. Hold on. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for hitting like and subscribe and all of the things. Monique is still holding a grudge against Tyler Perry. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's what it is at all. I don't think she's holding a grudge. I think she's probably standing on business. I did hear this one clip. I didn't want to get too deep into this. I'll cover the Jillian Michael story tomorrow because there are two parts to this Jillian Michael story. Jillian Michael is allegedly suing Netflix. Now, of course, because it's Jillian Michael from The Biggest Loser, something about Netflix doing a Biggest Loser documentary, and she's suing them because, you know, maybe some poor representation or whatever. So we're going to get into that. But I'm also glad that I didn't get into that story tonight because it's another part to that story that I want to discuss with you guys, because she had the audacity to say some shit about slavery that I think she spoke a bit out of tune. And a little tone deaf and a little out of turn. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Tamar's situation is so strange and scary. She was just celebrating a couple of days ago, and to hear this. Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of things, you guys. Tamar's situation could be a lot of things. She could have fainted and fell and hit her head. Like, she could have not had enough to eat, or, you know what I'm saying? So we don't know. And she says she don't know. So because she don't know, we don't know, then all we can do is pray for the best. Timogen says, don't believe she was being okay. So yeah, the Monique situation. I have not seen the full Monique story, so I don't want to speak on that too much because, again, Monique is my girl. I love her to pieces. And that's my sister. And like I said, she be like, Nick, let's go. I'm like, we ride at dawn. Where we at? Torches and everything. Let's go. But I think she was just saying what a lot of us feel when you feel like you have been publicly disrespected by somebody. You want a public apology. You know, it's part of what I said when I talked to, Monifa and I had our conversation. And if you guys haven't had a chance to look at that conversation, please take a look. It's a pretty good conversation. Thank you guys for the badge. Thank you for the badges, TikTok. Gotta rock it, don't stop it. Gotta rock it, don't stop. Keep ticking and talking, working all around the clock. Hey, hit like, share, subscribe, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of y'all special places. I'm so glad to see that I'm hanging out with so many beautiful people. Twitter on fire. It's on fire, yeah. What's up, Twitter? I see y'all. I'd actually moved away from Twitter for a minute. And the reason I moved away from Twitter is because I was feeling some type of way after things were said. But baby, one thing I could tell you guys, listen, use whatever platforms you have available to you. Because we don't know, how long these motherfuckers are going to be made available to us. And if you're reaching people and you're giving them the best of yourself and hopefully giving them some information that can entertain and uplift and inspire them some sort of way, it doesn't matter who owns the platform. Because truth be told, we don't know who owns any of this shit. All we know is we need to obey the rules and engage with the audience, and, you know, there that is. So thank you, Twitter. Thank you for showing up for me. Thank you, LinkedIn, for showing up for me. Thank you, Worth TV, for showing up for me. My Worth TV, baby. And TikTok. Y'all my babies. Y'all showing up for your girl. Anyway, no, I don't think Monique is being shady, and I don't think Monique is holding a grudge. I think Monique is standing on business. And again, I haven't seen the whole thing, so I have to see it. But yeah, I mean, you know, people are entitled to have their opinion about their experiences that they were there for, that they lived. She was there. She know what had happened was because she was there. We weren't. And she's telling us what happened while she was there. So who are we to tell her that she don't know what the hell she's talking about? That's not even like normal for somebody to think that they know better about a person's situation than the person that was there. And I think we just do that shit so much, you know? We all need a long, tight hug, Sabrina. We do. We all do. I understand Monique for saying how some people like O and TP turn their backs on her. She and Lee, I believe, resolved their issues. I'm not sure, but I want to say that she and Lee resolved their differences. Hi, Pam. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, my sister Pam, the law intellect. I cannot wait to see you next month. We got so much catching up to do, Pam. You guys are probably already following her, but Pam Esquire, the law intellect, is my Detroit sister, and she is absolutely amazing, and she's smart, and she's educated, and she's advocating for people, and I'm just really grateful to know her. I've met a lot of really awesome people throughout this process. You guys, yes, we're still having auditions for Curtains, the dramatic series, dramatic musical series Curtains. So please make sure you tune in. I'm sorry, you submit for that. What else? I think we got all the topics. I'm not going to go into the Jillian Michael thing because, like I said, it's something else I need to talk about with her. Because, she. Oh, that's what I want to share. Hold on. I do have something I need to share with you all that is very important to me. Okie dokie. I'm just pulling up the details. Pulling up the details. Where are we, Pam Credible? Okay, we were supposed to have this conversation last week on Wednesday. But this Wednesday, August 18th, we're doing a fireside chat with Pamela Price, who is the Deputy Director of the Balm in Gilead. It is Health and Humanities. You guys, this is going to be a really great made it too small. Make it a little bigger so you guys could see it. It's going to be a great, thought-provoking, and informative fireside chat with a series that's going to be designed to help us connect the dots between our health, our lives, and the factors that impact them. The entertainment industry and social media and all of these platforms are awesome because they give us a great opportunity to connect with our audience and to share our stories authentically from our own mouths and whatnot. But also it can be a very hectic place that can cause a lot of people who, if you are not grounded in who you really are, to spiral. And we're seeing it more than ever. I mean, even our young kids are being impacted by it. So I'm excited to have this conversation tomorrow because everything is connected, literally. On a daily basis. And sometimes you have to unplug from the electronics and from social media and who am I to talk, right? Unplug, disconnect, and reconnect with your analog self. Reconnect with the version of you that existed before all this shit. Stop comparing yourself to filters. Stop worrying about, and we get so caught up in the things that people say about us in social media. And I have to say this to myself because I often forget a lot of these people that have these terrible things to say are very young. You forget, or bots. Or, you know what I mean? Like, real people aren't really like spending that much of their time focused on tearing people down in social media, right? So just remember that when you start to take it too seriously, and you could have 500 likes and 10 people say some crazy shit in your post, and we're responding to the 10 people that said the crazy shit. And I just think that is a waste of good energy. I think that is a waste of our time. And I think that it is something that we have to be careful about, because you'll be arguing with bots, and you'll be arguing with children, and you'll be arguing with them too. So be careful about that. You guys, I'm going to put up a new episode of From the Bottom Up probably tonight. What time is it? No, probably tomorrow because it's a little late. I'll put up a new episode of From the Bottom Up. I believe we are on episode 3. So make sure if you are not subscribed to WRF.TV, you do. When I say I'm grateful to you guys for coming in and bopping in and hanging out with me, I really am. Please tell your friends. The biggest compliment is I was in a grocery store and this lady was like, "You going live tonight?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah." It was like crazy because you don't realize that, like, people are actually watching and you're actually connecting, because I see you guys in the bubble and in the little captions and whatnot, but really I'm just in this room talking to myself to a lens on the camera. So when a real actual human connects with you in a space as random as a grocery store and is like, "Yeah, girl, I'll be watching your lives," da, 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 da. I was like, geeked up. She geeked up. She geeked up. If you geeked up, then I'm geeked up. So tomorrow night, come back, you guys. We are going to talk about Monique. We are going to unpack this conversation she had with T.S. Madison. I'm so excited to talk about it because I think Monique is one of the most compassionate, loving, really do. When she says I love us for real, she really does. She loves us for real. Monique is one of the real ones, right? She's the person who will reach out and say, hey, listen, sis, I'm checking on you. You good? The family good? How's the husband? How the kids? You know, it's just very important to have those real connections in the industry. I hope somebody does that for Tamar. I'm sure she has, you know, lots of, like she said, one of her friends actually discovered her. So I'm praying really hard for Tamar because that's got to be tough to not even understand how you ended up on the floor with a broken nose and broken teeth and all that stuff. That's crazy. So let's pray for our sister Tamar and hope that it's nothing too serious. Again, thank you, Twitter. I'm sorry, I keep calling you Twitter. It's like people not calling me Miss Daniels, baby. X. Cheers to you, X. Cheers to you, TikTok. Cheers to you, Facebook. Cheers to you, LinkedIn. Cheers to you, Instagram. And cheers to you, WRF.TV. And Maxie always told me you gotta look in the eyes or the toast don't come true. So, all right, you guys, tomorrow night we're gonna talk about Monique. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Please comment. You know, I noticed that I get engagement, but I don't get a whole lot of comments and stuff down there. So please comment, you guys. Thank you for the hearts. And I appreciate that you appreciate me and my hardworking ass coming on this thing live. Y'all are it's good for the spirit to hang out with y'all on these nightlies. So all right, you guys, I love and appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe on the way out. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for watching Nights with Nikki. Goodbye. Oh, here comes the bull in the china shop.